Like I said, my name is Mr. Floyd. I would like to introduce who made this community center possible, the United Community Center, Ms. Drina Green.
Thank you. As Mr. Floyd said, my name is Drina Green, and I'm the Director of Operations here at United Community Centers. We facilitate both the 13th Avenue Dream Center and the Rabonia Community Center. It is my pleasure today to welcome Mr. Kelly Kirschner, who has been instrumental in bringing the ABC for Kids program here to the 13th Avenue Dream Center and giving the middle school students the opportunity to learn more about their government and their role that they have to play. So without further ado, I'll bring up to you Mr. Kelly Kirschner, past mayor of Sarasota County and the executive director of Unidos Now.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Ms. Green. I appreciate it. How have you all enjoyed ABC so far? Good? That's it? Just good? You'd rather be outside playing basketball, football? Yeah, this young man says yes. Why yes? Take your hands away from your mouth. I can't hear you. It's fun playing basketball, but learning about civics isn't fun. It is? All right. That's good. That goes to you, Mr. Floyd, right? That's good. You're making it fun. Why is it important to learn about civics? Does anybody, because we have somebody who's really important here that's going to talk to you, a lot more important than me, Mr. Sweat. Yes, sir, you young man. Why, you raised your hand. Why is it important?
Well, it's important because so you can learn how the system works and how like the government works and stuff.
That's a good answer. So right now, state of Florida, if you look at our population, we have about 36% of the population is either black or Hispanic. But if you look at those people who are in public office, who are elected officials, and really specifically if you go down to the courthouse to see who are our judges, who are the people that judge people, that send people to jail, 85% of them, or almost all of them, are white. And so the University of Florida dean of their law school said, we have a fundamental problem in our country when not everybody's participating, when not everybody's being a judge as they should be, that reflects the composition of our cities like Bradenton, Palmetto, then the democracy that our founding fathers created, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, all of these great figures that you've been learning about for the past few weeks and that you've learned about in school, that they set down in this foundation for democracy, but if we don't have people that participate in it, then we don't have a good product. We don't have a good democracy, and then we get, I think, bad results. So that's really why Unidos Now is doing this, and I want to recognize two women that are really responsible for making it happen. In the back is Miss Susie Copeland, if you could be recognized, and then also Miss Jean Patterson. So Susie is with the NAACP. Who knows what the NAACP stands for? We got to include that in the curriculum, Mr. Floyd. The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. We're gonna get to that at some other point with you guys soon. So this is really, you guys are our guinea pigs. That you are our first class that have gone through this program. We expect you to not only learn and appreciate the importance of it, we expect you to go home and educate your parents. Have any of you seen these TV commercials about cigarette smoking? So you, young lady, tell me about what cigarette smoking does. And use this microphone. Tell us your name, too.
My name is Amaje. And it makes your lungs, they get like smaller and they turn black, and cause tar builds up in them and you can't breathe very well and stuff, and you start coughing and stuff, and then you might get lung cancer and you might die.
So those are good TV commercials. They educated you quickly. So what would you say to your mom or your dad or your brother or sister if you saw them smoking?
They should stop.
Yeah, you'd be angry, wouldn't you?
Yes.
All right. So what are you going to say to your mom or your dad if they're not voting and participating?
That they should vote.
All right. Let's give a big round of applause. So really, and that was perfect. We couldn't have scripted that better. I'm sure METV thought we were here making you say that, but we actually didn't, for those folks that are at home. That, you know, ultimately what this is about, that some things are really bad for us health-wise, and you can see it, like a black lung, and that you'll die of cancer. There's other things then that happen to the entire community that really hurt our community and our cancer on the community when we don't have everybody participating and everybody playing their role and appreciating the importance of their vote. And so the individual who's responsible to make sure that everyone's vote counts, who's a very important person, he's been doing this for 28 years, is that right, Mr. Sweat? 28 years in Manatee County. He's here with a lot of his staff to actually go through this exercise with you. And I know we're really appreciative for them taking the time to do this today. So that's it for me. And I think Ms. Green's going to, you want me to introduce him? Well, so Mr. Sweat, it's all yours.
Hi. Good day, huh? It's almost over? Isn't it? I know it's almost time for us to go home. How about y'all? Listen, I wanted to come out today, and I think you have been studying, you know, about our political process, the House of Representatives, the President, and I think that maybe we'll wrap it up today. I think we're going to have an election. We've got a President and a Vice President that you're going to elect out of your class here today, and we're going to do that when we get all through. But I wanted to just take a few minutes and tell you a little bit about the process and why it's important to vote. You're not old enough to vote for the President, for the governor, or anything like that, but you are old enough to vote. And I would bet you right now, standing here, that some of you have voted already at your young age. So let's take a chance and see if we're right. If your teacher told you today that you were going to have a pizza party or an ice cream party, and we wanted to see which one of you liked which one the best, let me see your hands if we had a pizza party. Raise your hand if you'd want a pizza party. Okay, 1, 2. Ooh, not too many. Okay, that's good. Put your hand. Now, you can only vote one time. Only raise your hand one time. How many of you would like an ice cream party? Okay, now look around. Who won? What vote? And you know, you just got through voting right then. And that's the kind of voting that you're going to be doing probably until you're 18. Okay? But remember, when you're voting, always, the choice is yours, not someone else's. No one should be telling you how to vote. You should make up your own mind. And you're all old enough now to be able to determine, look around, listen to people, and make up your mind and not be influenced by any individual. But you could be influenced if we got up today and decided we wanted to campaign on, say, I want to tell you how great an ice cream party would be, so I want you all to vote for the ice cream party. But you don't have to. That's the beautiful part about our democracy. You don't have to vote for anything or anybody that you don't want to vote for. Now, we go to a lot of effort in our office to get people registered, and we're going to give your family today an opportunity, if they're not registered, to register to vote, because it's so important in our modern government, and government is the only thing that gives us that opportunity. If you don't take advantage of it, you lose it. You lose a basic right that this country gives every citizen that we have in the country, and that is to exercise their right to vote. And if you don't take that opportunity, then what do? You lose your right. You don't have a right if you're not registered to vote and take advantage of it. Now, let me tell you about voting. You're going to vote many times, just like we did here today for the ice cream social or for the pizza party, by raising your hand. But when you turn 18, you will be able to register to vote if you've led a good, clean life, you've never been in jail, you've never been in trouble, and that's what you ought to work toward, is learning what's good and what's bad and go the good route. You're old enough to know that today, what's right and what's wrong. So when some of your friends tell you you ought to be doing something that you don't think is right, what would you say to them? That's not right, so I'm not going to do it. And you can be proud to stand up and say that, because you don't want to get into trouble. Because a lot of people can't vote in this country today because they have had their rights taken away from them because they have been in jail or in prison and they've never gotten them back. So it's important never to lose them, because once you lose it, it's really tough to get your rights back. But when you turn 18, if you're a citizen of this country, which all of us are, then you can register to vote. Now, if you're going to register to vote here in Manatee County, you have to be a resident of Manatee County. You have to live here. And you have to be a resident of the state of Florida, have to live in the state of Florida. But once you're registered to vote, once you're registered, unless you do something really silly, you will never lose that right. Never. You can always vote. And it's very important that every time an election comes around that you do vote. Now, you need to do something before you get ready to go to the polls and vote after you're registered to vote. You need to know what's going on. You would not want to go to the polls and say, if I came up and said, you vote for Bob Sweat, okay? Well, unless I told you why you should and you liked what I told you, then you shouldn't be influenced by anybody by just coming up and telling you to vote. You should make up your own mind and vote your conscience. Vote the way you think it would be. Because what all the votes that you cast or you go out and vote for people, these are the people that run your government. They're and as you get older, you'll appreciate this more. And now your families will appreciate it today. Because everybody that is elected out here in some way, they have a part of setting your taxes, setting your policy. Do you know that someone voted on how many days you go to school? You didn't think about that, did you? Someone voted on how many hours you spend in school. So somewhere along the process, someone is always making decisions for you, but you have a decision that you can make. You can either vote for the people that's doing this, or you can vote against the people that's doing this. But you just wouldn't want to go out and say, vote for Bob Sweat because I'm going to take care of you. That's silly. That's not good. Know why or how I'm going to take care of you. And I think it's very important that you go home and tell your family that if they're not registered to vote, they need to be registered to vote. Because after all, everything that happens to them and everything that happens to you for the rest of your life is going to be created by someone that was voted for to hold office, okay? I think my time's up, but I'll take a couple questions if you have any, because we're going to vote on a president and a vice president in just a few minutes. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
If you're registered to vote in Manatee County, but you go off to college, like, do you have to come here and vote?
Great question. No, once you're registered to vote in Manatee County, as long as you keep your residence here in Manatee County, you can vote absentee. We'll send you a ballot. Just tell us before you go off to college what your address is going to be and that you're going off to college. Plus, once you register to vote, if you move anywhere in the state of Florida, all you got to do is just go into the office of elections there, and they will transfer your voting rights to you. You don't have to go down and register again. That's the reason why I said, once you're registered to vote, if you're good and behave yourself and don't break the law, you're registered to vote forever. Okay? Good question. Yes, ma'am.
At the age of 16, they can't pre-register. Is that correct?
Yeah, and that's important. I know that we're telling y'all a lot of things today, and you got a few years before you're going to be able to do them. But it's one of the things that you might keep in the back of your mind. When you're 16, 17, you can pre-register to vote. They will send that information to my office, and then when you turn 18 or a month or so before you turn 18, I'm going to send you a voter registration card and a letter that says something like this, kind of corny maybe, but it says, happy birthday, and I hope you exercise your right to vote. And you're going to get that from us. We're going to let you know, and then you're going to have a card that's got all the information on it that you need to have to be able to start in the direction that you want to start in, and that's in the direction to vote. Now, when people are running, like the sheriff, the property appraiser, me, the governor, if you've been watching any TV, you've seen this crazy stuff that's going on with, with the people that's running for president. Everybody's the best, and they tell everybody that the other ones aren't the best. But see, that's where you're going to school and you're getting smart comes in. So you know who lies and who doesn't lie. You know who's telling the truth out there and what they can do. You need to know this because it's important. Don't let somebody lead you down the primrose path and vote for somebody that's not going to help you. That's the bottom line to it, okay? Do you have another question? No, okay. Okay, we've got a slate of officers here for president and vice president. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to do the process, but you need to come up because when you go to vote on election day in real time, when you turn 18, you're going to have to go in and you're going to show some form of identification. We already have that. And then you're going to have to sign your name, and they're going to give you a ballot. And that's what we're going to do today. Now, in my office, when we get a ballot that's been voted, we put it in a machine, and it just tabulates it right then. But we couldn't bring the machines out here with us. But I got 2 machines here today that are going to tabulate the votes for you. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, they get a chance. Y'all want to come up now? The president, just stand right over here, and then I'll give you the mic, and y'all can talk, and then we'll vote. Come on up. Now, see, you look at these candidates up here. They might be your future president. You don't ever know. Who's running for president? I know you are, right? Okay, there you go. Tell them who you are and why you want to be the president of the class.
My name is Amaje, and I want to be president because I want to help the people more, and I want to help people get their education better, and so they can do more stuff at school. And I want to help people in their houses so they can afford them, so they won't have to be like on the road and stuff, like on the streets and stuff, so I can lower like the rent pay and stuff like that. And I want to help people in the hospital so I can help them like lower their bills and stuff like that. And I want to help I just want to help people.
My name is Damien, and I want to run for president so I can help this community be better, and I can find more cures to cancer and all the other diseases. And I want to help the kids get all the education that they need. And people, so they don't be on the streets and being in jail, help solve their problems and make sure they have the same rights as everybody else. And that's it.
Hi, my name is Maxine. I want to vote for vice president to help our country. I want to help people that don't have money, or to help the people not get in crime so they can have the right to vote like we do. I want to help people that are really sick and stuff, you know. Well, I want to help our environment, the animals and stuff, to have a better life and stuff. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Hi, my name is Tyler, and I would like to help kids with their education so they could get better textbooks, better desks, and so, and like if they don't like study hard, they could get extracurricular help in all their grades, and that's it.
Well, these young men and women have been going through this now for several weeks, learning a little bit about the political system, and today we thought we would culminate it with them having an opportunity to really portray a candidate running for something like president, vice president, and this is a start for them. If they take this with them throughout their career, they're going to be better citizens when they turn 18 and start looking for jobs, registering to vote, maybe going into the military. But I hope the lesson today was, you know, watch what you do, don't get into trouble, and be a productive citizen. Well, you know, for 28 years I've been going into the school systems here in Manatee County, and I think the greatest reward that I've had is to hear these young men and women talk about how important it is for them, and hopefully they'll take it with them as they continue on towards the end of their education.
You know, I think it's critically important, as I was telling the young people, that unfortunately, if you look at particularly minority participation in the state of Florida in recent elections, the most recent being 2010, you had about 27% turnout averaged out, particularly in Manatee and Sarasota counties too. And you know, I think if you look across the world at the best functioning democracies, the best democracies are where you have the most participation. And when you have segments of the community that continually are not participating, then you get, I think, you reap the fruits of that, which is less competitive races and perhaps political conversations and outcomes that aren't as competitive either. So it's critically important that people understand the importance of their vote and the importance of exercising that vote every time that there is an election. You know, I think it's great and really impressive to see middle school, you know, young teenagers getting in front of their peers at an after-school program. This, you know, this isn't for credit, but they're getting up in front of their peers. That takes a lot of courage to do that, and then get excited about this process too. So it's exciting for us to be a part of. We have a lot of volunteers that have put a lot of time into starting this program. We hope that it will continue in the years to come. I couldn't have said it better than the young lady who spoke that is running for president too. You know, this analogy that Gene Patterson, who's one of the founders of this program, uses with smoking cessation. You know, there is positive and conclusive evidence that children have a significant impact on getting their parents to quit smoking. I think the same is what we would hope that this process has with children speaking to their parents on why it's so important for them to vote. That there's some things that really have positive health outcomes for a community, and there's other things like smoking that have really negative health outcomes for a family and their household, but that also affect the community and our finances by virtue of what we then pay for it as a community to deal with cancer, etc. So I think it was beautiful that, you know, the young lady said it. I didn't say it. It wasn't scripted. And if every young person takes something like that away, then this course is a success.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this moment we're counting the votes. So everyone wait patiently, and as soon as they get done counting the votes, we will announce the winner. Hopefully everyone took the time out for whichever candidate they voted for. They did their research on why they'll be the best candidate for president and vice president. And at the moment, we'll just wait patiently. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the president for the 2012 year is Amarje Hart. All right, listen up, guys, listen up. All right, listen up. For vice president, unfortunately, we have an even number of votes for both candidates. So what we're about to do now, we're about to have a runoff election, and we're about to do it again for our vice president, okay?
Just wanted to thank everybody who was instrumental in making this a huge success today. I think the kids were enlightened and enjoyed the activity today on how the real life election process works. Special guest supervisor of elections, Bob Sweat, gave a fantastic speech on how the process works in looking and encouraging the kids for the opportunity to look forward to voting in future years and how their votes do count Mrs. Jean Patterson, Susie Copeland, Omar Floyd, and Kelly Kirschner, who are all instrumental in spearheading this project here at 13th Avenue Dream Center. We just wanted to give a special shout out to all of them, and I know that the kids will be impacted by the things that they learned here today. Thank you.
I learned that I could, I guess I learned I can amount to anything like that.
What did you hear when you were young?
I learned that voting for who the candidate that supports your rights, that supports what you think is right, is the best way to vote. And I think I made a good decision.